Well guys, we had our first Clancy show yesterday, and I was up until 1 a.m. watching that live stream. Big shout out to Andrew. Thank you for having the best live stream I've ever seen when it comes to concert live streams. And I was tired, your girl was tired, but I have notes, I have some thoughts. So I thought today that I would give my initial thoughts about the Clancy tour, maybe like a little review, main takeaways, as well as a little bit of analysis, because you know 21 Pilots, there's always some lore going on. So let's get into this thing. The main thing I want to start this out with is the camping thing. Thank God that this was finally addressed, because no matter how you feel about camping, it was getting out of hand. Like, there's no way. It's just stupid to camp for 10 days. There's no point in doing that. Like, literally, I've shown up 1 or 2 hours, like, right before the show started, and I've been right behind the campers. Like, there's just no need to show up that early. Not to mention the health risks and the liability. And you're just giving the band a bad name. I have actually seen, like, venue workers come out and say that, like, the clickies are annoying to deal with, and I don't want that reputation, because you're just hurting the boys. You know, these venues will not want to have the band there if they have to deal with fans camping. So I'm very glad that the band decided to kind of put us in check and kind of tone that down. I don't think this will stop camping completely, but I think it did kind of put people back in reality. And it needed to be, because the weird, like, power trip people get from being the line leaders is just gross. It's gross. It doesn't need to be there. So I'm glad that that was checked. Also, the merch. I don't like it.
What the hell, what?
My camera keeps wanting to focus on Gigi for some reason. Come on. It's me, it's my channel, not you, Gigi. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm not surprised that 21 Pilots have come out with merch that's ugly and unwearable. It's not ugly, I'm just not crazy about it. I mean, it's okay. It's just okay. If I had to put it, it's meh. They've done worse, they've done better, but I will still be buying it. I'm still gonna be buying it. Honestly, I think the merch you got from the FPE event was a lot better than anything at the merch stand. The Ned bread bag alone beat everything at that merch table. Which, speaking of, during the FPE event, we have gotten a new letter, which introduces us to a new character named Elliot. Now, we don't know much about Elliot. It just seems like the way that lore characters are introduced is that they just show up, and then we have to figure out where they were the whole time. But it seems like Clancy really likes Elliot, because Elliot appreciates his art. Which, when I first read this, I immediately thought of the fans. Like, Elliot represents us, because obviously we're the ones receiving and really impacted by Tyler's art. Of course, I cannot give the full analysis on Elliot yet because the letter is incomplete. My guess is that throughout the tour we will get different pieces of letters, and maybe they will all connect and then we'll get a full letter by the end of tour. But as of right now, I'm going with Elliot is us, because Elliot seems to appreciate the art of Clancy, and who else to represent that better than the clique, the fans? Now I want to get into the actual show, now that we've gotten everything else covered. The tour starts with music videos and things that we've seen before in black and white. Now, I think this represents a flashback. Of course, Tyler tweeted that this tour was going to be a flashback, a reminder of all that we've been through before the final battle. And I think this is it. It's setting up that this is a flashback, and it's showing us all that we've been through to get to this final point. And it might have been why Tyler hit us with bangers, like, right out of the gate. I mean, Holding On To You was second. And Car Radio was just right out of the gate. But right out of the gate, we see a lot of iconic things throughout 21 Pilots history. You have the hanging mic. The microphone is back. The glowing mic that we see in the Blurry Face era. There, of course, is Holding On To You that has been in the set list forever and has, you know, Tyler in the crowd and Josh doing the backflip. Car Radio, of course. It's not a 21 Pilots set list without Car Radio. And Car Radio also had the transition trick that we see in, I think, fairly local on a past tour. The Heavy Dirty Soul Death Drop was in there. Even like the Mulberry Street like light thing that he does with the crowd, where each section of the crowd has to do a like Mulberry Street with their phone lights. I think this was intentional because it is showcasing all of the iconic moments in 21 Pilots shows. Of course, if you have seen 21 Pilots before, you know that those are kind of staples within 21 Pilots Live. Maybe not Mulberry Street, but it was still like a fun thing. And once again, I think it is part of this flashback, part of the reminder of everything that we've been through up until this point. A new thing introduced is that Mark, their creative director, actually films people outside of the venue that day singing The Judge, and that will be played during the show, during The Judge, of course. And I thought this was really fun because it reminds us again of not only the flashback and what we've been through, but the fact that this is a community, that you are not alone. There are a bunch of people who are going through similar things, who know what you've been through, and that are ultimately there for you. It's just honing in on the community that we've built. And those moments are really grounding, especially when we've been through like the drama that we've had been for the past couple days, because ultimately that is the highlight of the clique, right? The fact that we are supposed to be there for each other and we understand where one another is coming from. And I think that's why it's disappointing to see like, it's just mean girl drama, you know what I mean? Like, I've just been seeing stuff on Twitter that's just like Regina George core.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
And I'm sick and tired of it. It's on both sides. Stop being mean. Stop it. Or I'm gonna have to get involved. And you don't want that. The Judge also turned into Cut My Lip, which was cool. It seems here lately that Tyler and Josh love a good mashup. I think it's a way for them to like speed through songs, like only doing like parts, but still making it cool. That was kind of my only complaint with this entire like tour, and it's not even like a big complaint, but at times it felt rushed. At times it felt like they were just like cramming as much songs as possible onto the set list, which I mean, I know it sounds weird that I'm complaining that they did too many songs, but I don't know, at times it just felt off. At times it felt like they were rushing. At one point, Tyler even said that he is going to stop talking to the crowd as much just to get through more songs, which again, I am grateful that they want to do this kind of thing and go through like their whole set list. But at the same time, I don't know, I just feel like if you're just gonna rush through it, don't even put it on the set list. I don't know. It's not a big complaint. I'm making it seem like it's a bigger deal than what it is. At times, it just felt rushed, and as the set list continued, it got a little better. But during the beginning, I was like, we are flying through these. At this point in the show, Josh got his little drum pad out, which immediately reminded me of the MTV Unplugged thing they did, which I was there for. I was there. I'm on the album cover.
I was supposed to be in the video.
Really? Again, this might be highlighting another part of their history, another iconic moment in the 21 Pilots world, which was, of course, MTV. Just another sort of reference, another sort of poke poke, nudge nudge into the history of the band. There were also 2 B stages this tour, ladies and gentlemen. 2, not just 1. There's normally 1, but there's 2 this time. And how that was set up was Tyler was on one side, Josh was on the other, and I like that setup. It's cool. I always appreciate how much Tyler and Josh move through the crowd. I mean, Tyler's up in the stands, he's like up in the nosebleeds, and then he'll be like in the middle of the pit, and then he'll be on stage, and then at one point he was like below the stage. Same thing with Josh, you know, the Drum Island, B stages, things like that. It really just goes to show like they do want to give fans, no matter where they're at, like a good spot and a good view, and that chance to be up close and personal with the musician that they love so much. Again, Barricade is not that important. You don't need to spend 10 days, and don't even say that I'm jealous of y'all at Barricade. I don't want to be at the Barricade. There's too many sweats. As in, y'all try too hard, and as in, it's sweaty up there. I don't want to be up there.
Just want you to know that it's pretty smelly over here, and it's been stinky for about the last 10 minutes.
Back of the pit has more fun anyways. But during this little B stage section, they popped out some bangers. I'm talking Addict with a Pin. I'm talking Fall Away. I'm talking Migraine. I'm talking Forest. Banger after banger after banger. And then they end it with Mulberry Street. Don't set her up like that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. As far as Skeleton Icy goes, Mulberry Street was one of the solid ones, but I still fear they set her up a little bit. But as someone who really enjoys the old 21 Pilots songs, I love the new stuff too, but I have a lot of good memories attached to their older stuff, and it's just really cool. that they haven't forgotten that, and they're still doing things like that for the fans who do enjoy the old stuff. After B stage, though, we get into some lore. Ladies and gentlemen. Josh, or I guess at this point, Torchbearer, gives the mask to Clancy, and then all of a sudden we see Dima on stage. This was honestly probably the coolest part of the entire show. It was just really, I don't know, it made me excited seeing Dima on stage, which I don't know why I'm excited to see Dima. That's not something you want to see, but it was really cool. But during this part of the show, you can see that the Dima buildings actually turn red, and there are literal actual flames on stage. I do think that this is a reference to something that we haven't really directly seen before other than this picture here. It might be showing Clancy and Torchbearer actually burning down Dima. Again, I think this is how they're going to ultimately defeat Dima. I mean, that'll do it. That'll do it, burning it to the ground. But right after these flames, you can see that the Dima buildings turn yellow. This, of course, represents the Banditos. Yellow is a good color, represents the good guys, which may represent a win. They burnt down Dima, and now it's over. The Banditos have won. Dima is now yellow. The Bandito colors have succeeded. But in true 21 Pilots fashion, there is nuance. It is not black and white. Because during Nico and the Niners, when Tyler says, "We'll win, but not everyone will get out," the Dima buildings turn red again. Red, of course, is the color associated with Blurryface, the bad guy color, even though it's the coolest. Blurryface was the coolest era. I'm sorry, guys. I know the Banditos are supposed to be good, but like, red and black is so much cooler than yellow and green. But the red Dima buildings might represent, of course, with the lyric, "We'll win, but not everyone will get out." That is not a complete win. That Dima still exists in some form, even though it's defeated. There was also some blue and red on stage. Regional at best? Question mark. Which, speaking of, Slowtown, baby. Slowtown. Slowtown? Really? You're popping out Slowtown? That made me very, very happy. I haven't seen a set list like this since Tour de Columbus, and I'm eating it up. But yeah, colors is a really big thing to watch out, just in general 21 Pilots, but especially on stage. A lot of the times, the colors they use alone will tell you what's going on more than anything. What's going on? There were some really cool transitions during this tour as well, like the Paladin straight right into jumpsuit was insane. There's multiple instances of like really cool transitions. But the dad thing. Listen, I'm not too keen on dads anyway, since mine is questionable. But this section of the show went on for way too long. If you don't know what I'm talking about, during Ride, Tyler thought it was a good idea to get a bunch of dads, or daddies as he referred to them as, multiple times to sing the chorus of Ride. And he got one on the left side of the stage, the right side of the stage, and the pit. And it was fun, like, the first time, and then it just kept happening and happening. It just felt like a time waster to me. Like, you can do that once and like the bit would be complete. Like, haha, like you called a dad on stage. I don't think you need to do it 3 times, because at the 3rd time you're like, yeah, I'm over it. Like, let's get chopping here. And come to find it out that I think this section of the show actually knocked out Oldie Station. I don't know about you guys, but I would rather see another song, especially Oldie Station, performed instead of someone's dad that I don't know and don't care about. I'm sorry. The dads seem very nice. I'm sorry. I'm just taking out my daddy issues on everybody. One of the most interesting parts of this performance, in terms of lore at least, was Paladin Straight. Now, of course, Paladin Straight is a very important song since it marks the final battle of the entire lore. Allegedly, that's still kind of open on that, and it is also the last song on the Clancy album. During this, we can see that Clancy, Tyler, whatever you want to call him, I don't know at this point, is singing Paladin Straight. Josh, Torchbearer, is singing Bandito, so you have this really cool mashup, but I think it is more than just a mashup. Clancy is singing Paladin Straight. He is preparing for his final battle. And then you have Torchbearer, who is singing Bandito. Torchbearer, by singing Bandito, is reminding Clancy during his final stand that there is hope. As the Torchbearer does all the time, that's what he is. He represents hope, right? He's the one guy, he's the one friend that keeps you going. And I really think that's what this mashup meant. It's like Torchbearer is reminding Clancy, like, you're a Bandito, there's always hope. before this last battle happens. It's also really cool considering that Bandito lyrics are also in Overcompensate, which is the first song on the album. So the fact that Bandito popped up in the last song of the album, it feels really full circle, and it's also a reminder of there is always hope. From start to finish, throughout this entire story, there has always been hope. Which, of course, hope is a big theme in 21 Pilots lore. This idea of, you know, no matter where you're at, how low you are, what you're going through, there's always hope. There's always some sort of hope that you got going on. And while on this idea of hope, I spotted another little color-coded reference in there. Some part around the Paladin Strait performance, it's a little after, I don't remember, it was 1 a.m. I was very tired. The Dima buildings turn red again, and the platform that the boys are on turns yellow. Again, it's this clear distinction between Blurryface and the Banditos, good versus bad, hope versus despair, the two sides going on there. Again, I'll say this again, color is very important. If you want to go about analyzing a 21 Pilots show or 21 Pilots in general, pay attention to color because they love their color, especially on stage. Even like whose spotlight is what color. Like, I mean, there's been times where Josh and Tyler have been spotlit in different colors, and that'll mean something. Colors is a lot. So just pay attention to that. And then we have one of the coolest moments on the show that I hope you guys don't ruin, as the performance of Trees right in the middle of the crowd. I'm serious. They get right dead center of the crowd. And I really hope that they continue this throughout the entire tour. I have a feeling that somebody will ruin it and they'll stop doing it. But it's really cool that they trust us enough to even try that. But again, I feel like this is another full circle moment. I feel like this is another reference to a part of their history, a part of this entire flashback that we have been reminded of this entire show. If you look of old performances of Trees, a lot of times they did that exactly how they're doing it now, right in the middle of the crowd. And I think that's what the idea of that was here. Like, they're going back to their roots, they're going back to how they originally planned this, and again, highlighting their history. It's a flashback, and I really hope they keep it. I really hope they keep it. I feel like it's doomed. I feel like it's doomed, but I hope they keep it. So there you go. There's my initial thoughts and analysis on the Clancy tour. I will be going. I just have to wait until October, which sucks. So I figured that I would watch some live streams and make this video now. Overall, I'm very, very excited for the Clancy tour. It is one of the best set lists I think they've ever had. Some of the best like little stunts and things that they're doing, activities, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's going to be a good one. And I am so excited to see it in person. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next one.